Bitcoin, potential trouble looming on the daily and more importantly, the weekly charts. So we're going to look at both today. We're going to start off on the daily chart. So if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. Follow us on Twitter, Telegram, and Patreon for more content, more help navigating these markets. So let's get right to it. First and foremost, where do we need to hold to remain the most bullish? Well, right here, the EMA 14 on the daily, right? This kind of retesting these tops of these candles right here. EMA 14 currently at 23,663. If you, by the time you're watching this video, we could be well below it. We could have bounced off of it, right? So let's see. That's the immediate short term, right? That's about the shortest term. We need to bounce here. If we don't, if we're closing under here, right, we need to wait for this close. It's in 7 hours, right? So depending on when you watch this, it might be closed. It might be close to closing. It might be right as soon as this video is released, and then you still got some time to wait. But so that's what we're looking for today. We need to close above the EMA 14. Otherwise, right, we can come down here in the mean term to the EMA 21 and bounce. That's still okay. Closing this candle, right, when you put it on closing prices, it needs to be holding the EMA 14, these local tops right here, right? So that's to remain most bullish. And if we do bounce, right, I would expect altcoins and Bitcoin to recover quite rapidly, continue this uptrend. Now, let's look at the potential trouble, right? If we come down farther and we close, say, under the 21-day EMA, then the odds just go, all you have in crypto or trading is odds. Odds would go way up that if we close under the 21, we're going to come down and test our next major level. I would argue that that is the 200-day EMA, which is currently 21.6. So that is also where we held last time. But there's also potential patterns playing out that would start to shape up if we come down here. What would that be? I'm glad you asked. So say we kind of mosey on down here over the next couple of days, we definitely want to be holding the 200, right? If we do, right, then maybe we want to try to come back up here. Now we need to make a higher high, right? We need to be closing above like 25K sooner than later. That'll become more clear on the weekly charts. But so say we come down here, we bounce. What would we start to potentially form is a head and shoulders pattern, right? We could do something like this over the now this is, a month plus out. So this isn't going to be something we're going to be able to know until we're probably a month from now. And this is still just potential. Just want to give you all aspects so you're not blindsided by anything, right? And then your neckline would be, I would say more of a zone kind of right down in here. We could argue this low closing candle, right? That closed at 20,600, right? Still a significant way down, but we would also be closing under the 200 if this scenario plays out, right? This is where you'd want to be exiting. If you're in the markets now and we close under, say 20,500, or if you want to be super safe and your risk tolerance is there, under 20,000. If we close under that, the bears are likely coming back out to play in a big way. So that's what we want to be watching out for in the coming weeks. This is probably weeks away, and it's only potential. Just trying to alert you potential. I'm not saying any of this is likely to happen or anything like that. Just trying to make you aware of every possible scenario. So if we can move back up, we just need to take out this high again, right? So continue the uptrend. Now let's flip to the weekly, the bigger picture, and even more concerning is so far, right? This is, again, we haven't closed this week. We still have 4 days, 8 hours as of right now before we close. But if we close here or lower, it's going to be bad, right? Without going up first, right? This is what's called a tweezer top. Also, you don't want to be seeing tweezer tops on the weekly chart, and you definitely don't want to be seeing them at huge resistance, like, say, I don't know, the 200 week. Right? That is not good as well. How about a third? No. How about a resistance zone, right? Go from this candle over here back in May, right? Here's our big zone, right? Why that zone, right? You got your low that broke from the June lows, right? And then retested, started to form this zone. Then we hit it again right back in, the end of January. We tried to get through it. Right, we got our head above 25K the past 2 weeks now, but so far this is a huge resistance zone. We must flip this to support 25, 25.5. Then the bears will start to die off in a bigger way. I think you'll see an influx of capital come into the markets, but until then, we're now pumping the brakes, right? We were on cruise control for the past couple weeks here. We need to be very cautious of what's going on here and watch this candle close like a hawk. If we close, how could this get worse, Chase? Well, let's say we close down under 23K. That would close, more than 50% down from this last week's bullish candle. That would also increase our odds of continuing down on top of basically confirming a tweezer top. That is not what we want to see, right? Maybe the bears want to see that. Maybe Capo was right on Twitter. If you follow crypto Twitter at all, El Capo, he's been a bear since, down here, even through all this. He's holding his form that this is the biggest fake out in history, which it would be proven if this actually plays out to be a tweezer top and we actually come down. This wouldn't actually confirm until we take out this low. But like I said earlier, if we come back and break 20K, not only are you're way down from where we are now, but you're actually doing much more damage than most people would be aware of. You take out this top, you take out the 21 week, you take out the 8 week, you take out the 14 week. It would not be good, right? This would be a scenario that if we close back under this zone, that you'd need to be exiting. If you're in, not financial advice, but all the smart money will be getting out here, right? Because we're there, just like we talked about earlier, the odds would go way up of us coming down to at least this level again, right? Maybe 18.5 would save us, right? Maybe 18.5 to 19K would save us because that was a significant level that we broke with the FTX candle, right? This is the FTX weekly announcement there. Maybe this would save us, but if we break under that, I mean, that would be your last, final exit call, right? You're on a train to hell if you don't get out before here, right? Or after here, I would say. We're at least going to test this, and if not that, much lower. Now, these are two big walls that will help us, trampoline, safety nets, whatever you want to use. And I'm not saying we're going down here. I'm just trying to, again, prepare you for all scenarios. I have no benefit in making this other than to try to help you, right? These are our two safety nets. They're big, right? This one, I would argue that we're still bullish. We're still okay. But if we close under 23K this week, this confirms as a tweezer top. That's a huge warning, right? I would watch out. You do not want to see this. You don't want to see a weekly tweezer top right at resistance. So fair warning, just based on Japanese candlestick theory, right? Which is right. This is, you don't want to see tweezer tops into resistance, into major moving averages, and at the top of a rally, right? That's not what you want to see. Also, not taking out, right? We did not close above this one. Right, we have not closed. We've actually held kind of a double top here. Potential, right? It's not a double top until we put in, a new low. But, potential is all there. There's potential bears. They're sleeping with one eye open, right? Maybe they've been playing dead this whole time. I don't know if that's the odds, but I wanted to make you aware of it so you don't get blindsided if you're, all in and you have, your millions all into crypto right now. Pump the brakes on putting more in until we see this candle close. Now, what would be, who cares? Blue skies, right? This is just potential clouds forming. Doesn't mean a storm's coming, but potential. Where could we avert said storm? Well, I'm glad you asked. Closing above this candle, last week's candle, where'd that close? 24,281. If we can close at 24,282, this would turn green and crisis averted. At least for the bigly bears, right? Big bears would start to maybe, open those eyes if we close under 23K. So from me to you, for the 12 of you still watching, there's your warning, right? So I appreciate you watching this long. If you have, let's get to our favorite section of the video, quote and car of the day. The time you enjoy wasting is not wasted time. A lot of people think that they waste a lot of time, but if you like doing it, who cares, right? If you like going on walks or staring at the grass or watching birds fly over you and covering your, watch out for the droppings, that's more power to you, right? Love it. Car of the day. One of the best cars on the earth. You can't even argue with it. The Pagani Zonda in the exposed carbon. I mean, it's just a couple $100,000 option if you wanted to get the exposed carbon. They do the bigger weaves. So yeah, you pay a couple mil and then just a couple, 10% little extra fee if you'd like your whole car in exposed carbon fiber. Who wouldn't? If you got a couple million, what's another couple 100,000? Of course. The rear, and a little bit different, same car, but you might notice the top. This is called the Cinque, the Zonda Cinque Roadster, I might add. And this is probably the best hypercar on planet Earth. Absolutely mind-blowing. Look at the exhaust, and this is like over 20 years old. Imagine designing this 20 years ago, or seeing this drive around these like a damn alien spaceship. The most insane car. I've seen one in person, and they're about your knee level. They're really low. You could definitely like jump across it if you got a running start. They almost look like pretend cars, but they're $5 million. $5 million Matchbox cars. All right. That'll sum it up. Word of caution, watch the weekly close, and we will keep you updated. So, tweezer tops, they're certainly not Pagani Cinque Roadsters.